Hello, class. I'm answering a question that was asked to me about Project 16. I'm not going to do all of this here, but I am going to show you a couple answers to your questions. Okay, first of all, we're trying to find out the rate versus the factor. Okay, now, when you're given a growth rate or a decay rate, it's always done adding or subtracting 100% to it. So, for example, let me put a note box here because it'll be easier for me to type. For example, let's say that my growth rate was 2%. Okay, so say my growth rate was 2%. Okay, so this is the rate. So say my growth rate was 2%. Now to do the growth factor. Matter of fact, I'll put a comma here. The growth factor would be 100% plus the 2% that you have here. So this would equal to 102%. And this would be your growth factor. Now, when you have your growth factor, you will have to rewrite your growth factor into decimal form. So this 102% will become 1.02, and that will be your growth factor that you will use for an equation. So let's look at the general form of the equation when you're using a growth factor. Okay, the general form of the equation is y equals AB, and we know we would take that to the x power. Oh, for some reason. Okay. So I'm going to just do this. Y equals AB. And we know we would take that to the x power. Okay, so now if I was writing an equation, let's just say I was doing it by showing the growth rate or growth factor. This is how I would write it based upon what I had in number one. So I have y equals A, because we're not given A, and then I'll type in my growth factor, which is 1.02, and then that would be taken to the x power. Okay, so now that would take care of some of the issues with this problem. So now you understand what the growth rate is. That's the actual percent, and the growth factor is 100% plus the growth rate. Okay, now we come to another thing called the decay rate. Now that was the growth rate. The decay rate goes like this. So let's say your decay rate was 2%. I gotta do a note here. Let's say your decay rate was 2%, just to keep it consistent. So your decay rate was 2%. Now to get your decay factor, what you would do is take 100% and subtract your decay rate, which is 2%. So your decay factor would be 98% here, which would be your decay factor. Now, of course, just like in the last one with the growth rate, you have to change your decay factor into a decimal. So it'd be 0.98. Okay, so now if we were to write a formula just based upon the decay rate, no other items were given, it still is y equals AB to the x power. So it'll be y is equal to A, and then B will be 0.98, and then we would take that to the x power. Okay, so now you got an illustration of what growth rate is and growth factor, and then you have decay rate and decay factor. So now you have that. Now it asks us here to basically to list the decay rate and decay factor, which we already did. So now you understand what the decay rate, decay factor, growth rate, and growth factor is. And that is basically it.